Welcome to the Self-Care 101 podcast with your host, straight-talking life coach, Puja McClymont. This show provides simple self-development, supporting you to embody your self-worth so that you can live the happier, more fulfilled life that you deserve without burning out. Thank you so much for listening today. Hello, it's season 2, episode 31. When we're young and at school, we have lots of discipline around us. You could say that we've got many rules in our lives, but when we finish studying, there's this period of time where we get to do whatever we want, and most of us, well, we do. Then we coast through our 20s doing all these things we want to do, but with no real discipline. Enter our 30s and everything seems just that little bit harder. Our dreams and goals are bigger, but we're unable to do the work involved to get us to where we want to go. And this is where discipline comes into play. It's the ultimate game changer, and it is not easy. You are literally changing your life when you commit to discipline. In today's show, I'm going to explore what discipline is and how you can create more of it in your life so that you can change your life towards the life you want to be living. If you love the Self-Care 101 podcast, please can you head over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe and leave me a review. This really helps others find the show, and I'm eternally grateful for your support. Now, I've had bouts of discipline over the years, but inevitably something always comes in and throws a spanner in the works and, well, it derails me. Then trying to get back on the bike, so to speak, well, it becomes even harder. Now, when you have clarity of your life goals and you've defined purpose, it will get easier to get back on track. So it's important to start there. However, sometimes our goals are pretty big and it'll take us a few steps or a few years to reach them. Now, when this is the case, cultivating discipline in your life can make a huge difference, not only to achieving the goals, but also to your well-being and quality of life. When I was in my 20s, all I wanted to do was have a brilliant career that would afford me the big things that I wanted to buy, namely my own home and a decent car. I wanted to travel often and I wanted to buy whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. I was so focused and clear in my goals that I did whatever I needed to do in order to achieve them. And by 26, I had achieved them all. I remember getting the keys to my flat. I walked into the empty apartment and just slowly walked around each room. I'd look at the floor, the ceiling, and the space in between. I was imagining what each room would be, and at each different stage of my life. At 26, I was single, no boyfriend, and definitely no ideas of husbands and babies. But I bought a 2-bed because that would give me options, as well as being easier to sell when and if the time came. And I did this for myself, by myself. At the time, I was earning about 26 grand with a 3 grand yearly bonus. When I first saw the flat, I fell in love. It had everything I wanted. Spacious rooms, open plan kitchen and living, and a gorgeous view of the park and canal that I could enjoy from my balcony. I thought about the parties that I'd host, the people who'd come over, the pets I'd have. I thought about coming home after work each day, turning the key into a space that was mine, just mine. All I had to do to have this was to pay a £200 reservation fee and then speak to a mortgage broker. So I did. The mortgage broker gave me some really sound advice, which, you know what, I really still do take heed of today about my finances. And I was approved for a mortgage. Now, when I saw the flat, I didn't have any savings. Nothing, nada. A bit silly considering I was living with my parents, but I was enjoying spending my money. You know, I was enjoying the career and the money I was earning. So when the opportunity came to be able to buy my own place, things obviously had to change. I had to find 3 grand for the deposit and fees. Now, like I said, I had 0 in savings. So for the next 3 months, I stayed at home. I didn't buy anything for myself. I didn't spend money on anything that I didn't need, except for a lampshade that I fell in love with and that I could bring to my new home. I was disciplined. I had a clear goal in sight. I had a plan and I wanted to buy it. And just like that, the money appeared. I was able to pay the fees, the deposit, and still buy furniture. I was so focused that nothing was going to stop me, and nothing did stop me. Now, a note on that focus. When I described to you when I walked into that flat, when I got the keys and I looked around, and that feeling of what I was going to do in the space and who was going to be here, the parties I was going to host, I was creating a feeling of what I was achieving. It wasn't just that I was buying a flat. I was buying a lifestyle that I had dreamed of, a lifestyle that included friends and family and hosting dinners and parties and having pets and potentially having a family in that same space. It wasn't just the fact of buying a flat as a status symbol. It was buying this lifestyle, this environment, this way of showing who I am to the world, showing the things that I care about. I care about my friends. I care about my family. I care about being a host. I care about creating a beautiful home. I care about people enjoying my home. I wanted all of that. And the only way to do that was to buy my own place, because obviously I couldn't do it at my parents' place. It was about evoking the feeling of what was going to happen as a result of achieving the goal. And we call this outcome, right? So you will have heard me, if you are a regular listener, you will have heard me talk about outcome a lot when it comes to a goal. The goal you achieve is basically leading to something else, and that's the outcome. So when we talk about creating goals, we do always talk about not focusing on the money, because the money will come as a result of the goal, but the goal has to be really strong. So if you're looking for a new job, a new career, you can put all the effort into finding that job and that career. And yes, on the face of it, you'll get more money, but will you get what you need out of the job? So if you hate your job because you're not growing in it, how do you know the next job's going to allow you to grow? You might be getting paid 10 grand more, but are you actually getting the thing that you need, which is growth from that role? Outcome is very, very important when you're creating goals. So really bear that in mind, like seriously bear that in mind. Anyway, so when I got the keys on the 7th of June, 2007, I realized just how much I could do for something that I really wanted. And I took this to mean that if I put my mind to something, I will achieve it. If I believe in my heart that it's meant for me, I will achieve it. That if I believe in myself and my own resolve, I will achieve it. And so that's pretty much how I lived the rest of my 20s and my 30s up to 35. I talk about believing in yourself a lot. I do. I talk about it a lot because you only have yourself. You can have all the support, you can have all the means to do anything, but you only have yourself. It's all up to you. It's a lot of pressure. It's down to you. It's all up to you. Whatever you want to achieve in your life, it's down to you. It's down to the choices that you make. It's always going to be down to you. And putting your mind to something, choosing yourself, choosing to believe in yourself and your resolve and what it takes to get there is what will separate you from those who don't. The secret to success is you. It's you. You know, we can clickbait a lot of titles that say the secret to success is this, this, and this. But essentially, the secret to your success is you. It's you. It's what you can put in, what you believe in, what you can do, what you can achieve, what you appreciate, how you look after yourself. It's all down to you. If I hadn't put my mind to buying that flat and what I wanted was to create this lifestyle for myself. What I wanted was to have this space that I could call my own. I wanted to be able to have pets. My parents wouldn't let me. I wanted to host friends and family. My parents, obviously, they would let me, but it was their house. It wasn't mine. I wanted to decorate it the way I wanted to decorate. I wanted to cook. I wanted to bake. I wanted to enjoy coffee mornings on my balcony without anyone talking to me. I wanted that silence. That's what I wanted. I wanted that. And the flat allowed me to do it. So when I was 35, I got pregnant and things were about to change. I had a really difficult pregnancy. Micah was born at 30 weeks, which is 7 months, and he spent the first 2 months of his life in hospital. At the time, I was being paid statutory MAT pay, which was, I think, around £500 a month. And I was literally going into debt even before he came home. Then, during mat leave, I was made redundant. I lost my job. I lost my 40k plus salary. And you know what? Every day I was conflicted because on one hand, I needed to be strong for my son and keep him alive. But on the other hand, I was seriously, deeply worried about how we were going to survive. And suddenly, everything became harder and I didn't have the strength in me to change it. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to get a job and look after my son. I always wanted to stay at home with my kids for the first couple of years of their lives, and I wanted a safety net of money in the bank to let me do this. But I didn't have a safety net because it all happened so quickly. Stressful. Really, really stressful. Now, the reason why I talk about believing in yourself so much and why I use so many personal examples is because if I didn't have that belief in myself, there is no way I would have recovered from depression. There is no way that I would have recovered from burnout. There is no way that I would have my husband today, because we had a breakup, bit of a wobble, things like that. There's no way that I'd be making money right now. There's no way that I'd be achieving any of the things that I choose to achieve. Belief in myself, knowing who I am and what I am capable of, and choosing me and my life, my goals, my wants, my dreams, my legacy. That is what has kept me going. And that is why I bang on about it. And that is why I'm a coach. And that is why I want to help other people, because I know I can bring that out of you. I know I can show you what you can't see within yourself. I know that. That is my gift. Let's call that my gift. I know that from previous experience of hiring assistants, marketing assistants, and giving them the space to shine. After giving them some training and support, then saying, you do it. You do it. You take care of it. You do that press trip. You do that campaign. You choose the promotional item and you create it. Giving them that license then allowed them to go, oh my God, I can so do this. And then I would leave the job. I would leave the job. At that point, I would leave the job because you know what? I didn't need to be there anymore. I couldn't teach you anything anymore. There was nothing fulfilling for me anymore. My jobs were good. I enjoyed them, but I enjoyed the part of helping people grow, helping people become who they wanted to be, seeing the gems in people. One of my assistants, one of my favorites, was someone who, she was a waitress in the hotel that we worked in. And there was just something about this girl. There was just something about her that I was like, oh, I'd love to work with her. That's what I thought. When I experienced her as a waitress, all I thought about was, I would love to work with her. How do I make this happen? And then I talked to her about marketing. I said, what do you think about it? Is it something that interests you? And she had done an economics degree and stuff. So there was some interest in business and things. And I spoke to my boss and I was like, I want her to be my assistant. And he was like, okay, all right, I'll find the budget. Does she want to do it? I said, well, I'll talk to her. And we did. I talked to her and we made it happen. And she was my assistant. No marketing experience whatsoever. She shone. When I tell you she shone, oh my God, she was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved working with her. We had more than a working relationship. We became friends and we became... She, looked at me for guidance and support, and I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed imparting everything that I knew to her so that she could do the job. And then I left. A couple of years into the job. She was smashing it. She was absolutely amazing. And I loved what she was becoming. So I needed to leave in order to give her the space to grow herself. And she did. She led the department after me. She did some incredible things. And then she went on to set up her own marketing agency. Blinding. I mean, amazing. And that fulfills me. I don't need any thanks. I know the journey that person went through. I know the journey from waitress to marketing to heading up her own business. I know that journey. That is enough for me to know that there was something there that I had as a gift. I'm going to say it's a gift because that's the only way I can explain it. I didn't learn this. There was nothing I did in my life through studying that said, this is what you do. But bringing out that belief in her, bringing out the belief in anybody is the most fulfilling thing ever. Obviously, I do it with my son every day. I even do it with my husband. My husband really doesn't believe in himself, and he's such an incredible human being. But with my clients, that's the same thing that I do. When I'm talking to you on these podcasts, it's the same thing. I want you to believe in yourself. I will bang on about certain things on purpose because psychologically, you are listening to these podcasts. They're in your ears. Your subconscious mind is going to grab on to a couple of things that really resonate and make sense to you. You might save this podcast. You might listen to it again. You might share it with somebody else. Whatever it is, the things that I repeat and repeat and repeat is a bit of NLP, retraining your brain, getting you amped up to live this extraordinary life that you deserve to live, because I believe that everybody can have this. I believe that you can have whatever you want, but there are things that we need to do that we are uncomfortable doing that's going to get us to where we want to go. And that's why this show is here. This is why I've created this show, because you can like me, you can enjoy the show for its content and things like that. But I do have a mission within what I do. If all of you who listen, all the couple of thousand of you that listen to this show every month, if you can believe in yourself, you're going to do amazing things. You're going to do wonderful things in the world. And you must also remember that doing wonderful things, doing amazing things, creating an extraordinary life, this does not mean that you become this massive millionaire and you live in a mansion and you have yachts and you do this, that, and the other that seems so grand. That's not what an extraordinary life is. Most people on this planet, what they want is financial security and happiness. Financial security, what that does is allows you to do the basics. It allows you to have a nice roof over your head. Nice roof over your head. Very specific. It allows you to have the ability to feed your family, to buy the things that you want to buy. I'm not talking about aspirational things necessarily. I'm not talking about the big ticket items. That's a different degree of happiness. That's something else. That's actually related to status and success, which is fine, but it's a different level. On the basics of having an extraordinary life, it's about knowing that you are happy. It's about knowing that everything you're doing makes a difference in your life and somebody else's life. It's knowing that you are affecting the world in a positive way. Even just being a nice person is affecting the world in a positive way. You do not have to be a philanthropist. You do not have to cure cancer to have an extraordinary life or to leave a legacy in the world. Being a good person is enough. There are too many not so good people in the world. The world is getting worse because of the accessibility on social media. We're seeing the truth of the world. It's a really sad place. It's a really sad, upsetting place. So if you can be part of the change, being a kind person, being a generous person, being someone who understands happiness and joy and spreads that around, you are leading an extraordinary life. If you look after your family, if you look after yourself, if you look after your loved ones, you are leading an extraordinary life. If you are looking after yourself, if you are growing, if you are doing the things that make you happy and bring you joy, you are leading an extraordinary life. This tangent I have just gone on in the show, very sporadic, but a tangent nonetheless. It's a tangent that I'm obviously very passionate about and something that I need you to hear. For whatever reason, the universe has just made me stop mid-show to take you on this journey of belief. It is what I believe in so much. If we all believed in ourselves and our abilities, my God, what we could do and what we could have, what we could appreciate, what we could see. So after coming back to the story, so after I was made redundant, it was, like I say, it was very stressful. But we made it through. And now I can't even tell you how at this point, but we did. Some days we only ate cheese and crackers and just made sure that the bills were paid. Other times we were supported with meals from my mum. The only things I bought were for Micah. We weren't able to socialise, we weren't able to holiday, and it was a really, really tough time. Now, this difficult time played a massive role in me losing that resolve that I had cultivated in my 20s. And it's still really difficult to this day. But I will tell you this, without discipline, we wouldn't have survived through that difficult time. We had to be disciplined in order to wake up every morning, look after Micah, work where we could, pay the bills, not overspend, not socialise, not date, not indulge. We had to do what we had to do. And through it all, that little voice of discipline kept me focused on the big picture. What do I want? What do I want from my life? I have everything now, everything I ever wanted. But what do I want now? Because in truth, this isn't how I pictured it. I hadn't pictured it being so hard, so difficult. So how was I going to turn this around? Cue discipline again. As I started exploring my career change, I was taking courses, networking, researching. I began my discipline journey again. I saw a vision of a life that I wanted, and I was going to do whatever I needed to do to make it happen. I didn't know how, but I knew there was something bigger and better that I wanted to create for myself and my now family. So I studied, I practiced, I used my marketing skills, I spoke to mentors, I hired a coach, I helped out a friend's business with some money, and I started my coaching practice. But things still don't look the way I thought they would. And this is something that I want you to know too. You must stop expecting your goals to look the way you think they will, because they won't. They aren't linear. When we sold my flat and moved to the other side of London, we said that we'd rent and decide where we wanted to buy because neither of us had lived in the area. Now, we found a beautiful, really lovely Victorian house to rent, and we enjoyed the space. It was never, but the thing was, it was never ours, and we knew it. We couldn't enjoy it the way that we wanted to. So for the next 2 years that we were there, all we wanted and all we did was focus on buying our own place. Now, we tightened the purse strings, we kept our outgoings down, and we did whatever we could to get our own house. And then, as life would have it, there were lots more blows. Because of the infancy of my business and the pandemic, it was getting harder for me to qualify for a mortgage. So we looked at other options. And we finally found an option that qualified me, but it was a flat and it was a 2-bed. So at the time, I felt like I was taking a step back, but at the same time, I was taking a massive step forward because it's your own home. It's still your own home, no matter what it looks like. And then within a few months, we were walking into our new home, which I love, by the way. I absolutely love it. And not because it's ours, but because it was a savvy move. So at the time, all I remember when we were buying was that we'd be saving money by buying, and that we'd be able to save money and make money from the house itself, or the flat itself. The mortgage we took means that we'll have equity just from the mortgage payments in 3 years' time. The location we bought in will give us a minimum of a 10 grand value increase in 3 years, if not more. We're saving money each month because it's cheaper to live there, to live in the flat, than it is to pay rent. We'll be in the house I want a little later than planned, but probably when it's the right time to be in the house, because I was sure that I was selling my flat to buy a house. I was sure that it was time for me to be in a house. And then when I was in that house, granted, I was renting that house, but when I was in that house, I realized something. What I learned about myself from living in a house is that I'm not actually ready to look after a house. I'm not ready to look after a house. I need to spend time growing my business so that I can contribute to the goals that we have for our family. That is my priority. I can't do that if I'm worried about the problems that come with taking care of a house. So wanting the house was actually part of the expectations that society puts on us. That, if you're going from a flat, you have to go to a house. You have to want more space. You need more space. But did I need more space or did I need more money? That was interesting. Did I need more space or did I need less stress? That was interesting. What did I actually need? Now, buying a new build, well, it's a new build, it's new, right? So very little to take care of. And a 2-bed flat is very easy to take care of. And that's what I want. I want easy. I don't want a big garden yet. I'm not interested in a garden. I like the idea of a garden, but I'm not interested in keeping a garden. And I've learned that I really love living on one floor. I really do. I love the accessibility that I have to my family and my rooms and everything else. I really actually enjoy living on one floor. I really appreciate that. So the goals look different, but the way they make me feel, that's what matters. And when you're putting your goals together, really think about how they make you feel. Because if the feelings are strong, you're going to achieve those goals. But if those feelings are not strong, like money doesn't evoke necessarily a warm feeling. It's just a fact of life. So that's why when we talk about goals and outcomes, it's the outcomes of your goal that's going to create the feeling. Now, I am the happiest I have ever been in my life, but I haven't achieved all that I'm working towards. But I'm happy. So I'm not chasing happiness. I know I can have what I want. I just need discipline to get me there. I need to make the right choices, the right decisions that align with my goals. And you know what? This excites me. It does excite me. It gives me a reason to live. It gives me a reason to be. It's what wakes me up in the morning. This is what keeps me going because my goals are big. It's not just the house in Spain that I want. I want to set up a centre for vulnerable children. I want to support young women. I want to do more for the world before I leave it. I really want to do that. Working with vulnerable kids is a really important thing in my heart. Really important. Supporting young women, girls who don't believe in themselves, who don't believe they can do or have or be what they want. I want to do that work. I want to. And achieving my personal goals that's what's going to allow me the time, the experience and the freedom to do the giving work that I so desperately want to do. Now, the thing is with discipline is that it's basically the key factor that's going to help you achieve your goals. And if you can't cultivate discipline, you are going to find it harder to do the things that you say that you want to do in your life. Discipline is about aligning your actions with your goals. Discipline is about choosing your goals over everything else. Discipline is about focus. Discipline is about not being distracted by other people and things. Discipline is about your happiness. Discipline is about choosing yourself. Discipline is about your life. Discipline is about creating a fulfilling existence. Discipline is about personal growth. Discipline is about success. When we think about discipline, athletes are a really great example of discipline in action. From an early age, they forego some elements of their childhood, or we could call them rites of passage, right? In order to be the best tennis player, the best runner, the best football player. They choose being the best at their sport over everything else. They choose to train. They choose to eat a certain way. They choose to train their brains. They choose their passions. And then they go on to be incredible athletes. But without discipline, they would fail. Discipline is ultimately about choosing destinations, reviewing what you need to get there, and then making those choices every single day towards those goals. And it won't be easy. It won't be easy. It won't be linear. You will get derailed. But if you are strong in your resolve, if you are clear about your goals and your purpose, if you believe in yourself, with discipline, you will You will, and trust me on this, I speak from experience. With discipline, you will get there. If you need some help cultivating discipline for your goals, please book in a free 20-minute coaching call with me at my website now. I have some exciting news. In June next year, I am hosting a retreat in Marrakesh. Now, it is a 6-night retreat and the theme is clarity, rest and rejuvenation. And in this retreat, we're going to do some deep connection to self-work using a number of spiritual tools, with each activity contributing to helping you uncover your deepest desires and fears that we'll then use to help you live your best life. You're going to be staying at the beautiful Peacock Pavilions under the Atlas Mountains. We'll have the venue all to ourselves. You're going to enjoy an outdoor cinema experience, a mindfulness experience at the Majorelle Gardens, a massage on property, a gentle hike with beautiful shopping in the Atlas Mountains, daily meditations, physical practices, delicious foods, and a final night of Moroccan indulgence. Think fire breathers and belly dancers. Come along. You'll find all the information at the link in the episode description. Now, there are only 10 places in total, so if this sounds like just what you need in your life, then email me today to hold your place with a deposit. You will not need to pay anything else until the new year. Thank you for listening to the Self-Care 101 podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate and review over on Apple Podcasts so that other people like you can find the show. For more information about the work I do, head over to my website, PujaMcClymont.com. And for daily inspiration, please connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Puja McClymont. Sending love and talk to you soon.